Welcome everyone to a special edition today. We have our Discover Wholesale committee here today. There's a group of us, a couple of them are in the field working today, but we got Apurva Sanghavi.
Yep, you got it.
Kind of got that right. Apurva is based out of Texas with Matador Lending, AIME member here, and has been really growing his business in Texas, continuing to grow with new recruits, get really heavily focused on retail. It's what this group does. We don't believe in cannibalizing each other. That's why, as you can see, if it's everybody in the same, hey, we got my guy Jason DuPont on here. Some call us competitors, but him and I both know what we're doing. We're both going after retail.
We're crushing retail.
And that's what we do. So, and then Ashley Miller. Ashley is with Empire Home Loan. She is a growth manager over there. Needless to say more, Ashley's been around for a while. Just a bright spot for everybody, making sure that people know that brokers are best. And Jason DuPont, everybody's got a text or an email from this guy. His marketing is next level. Self-claimed to be the number one recruiter in the industry.
I got proof.
I'll probably agree.
I'll back that up with numbers.
He does a really good job at it. I just want to, for the sake of validation, right? I know it's just like somebody told me, if you have a coach and you don't know if that coach has actually done the job, what qualifies them? I want to just give you guys a quick little screen share of the group that we have here today. So first one I'm going to share, Matador Lending, okay? Year over year, up 62.5%, right? Just absolutely crushing it. I'm going to share the rest of these as we go on, but Apurva, what's been going on? Tell me the strategies. How are you getting to a point? Last year, for a lot of people, was a very tough year in mortgages, right? Tell me what's going on over at Matador Lending and how you're growing, attracting retail originators.
Appreciate it, Tom. Yeah, so, I mean, much like all of us, 2023 is kind of where the hangover started, right? And we were down in the dumps as an organization, culturally. My headspace as the leader of the organization was kind of all clouded. And coming around 24, we really honestly burned it all to the ground and started looking at leaders like yourself, like Nexa, Loan Factory, all the big boys that have figured out growth in challenging markets. And you were touting the numbers and I couldn't ignore them. I was like, what are you guys doing? And so first we restructured our model, right? We were trying to build retail inside of a mortgage brokerage, which was not, to me, doesn't quite work. So we started just rethunk it. We came up with our own version of what is flat fee, and that started to resonate, right? We started educating our local market about to a loan originator in Houston, Texas, where we're based. We started just kind of first touching people that we knew already in our sphere. We came from retail for over a decade, transitioned to broker. We just said, hey, let me show you the difference first and foremost. And then, how much you're leaving on the table compensation wise. Everybody talks comp. We all talk comp. Yeah. And of course, that's a critical piece of the puzzle. But we wanted to kind of go beyond that. Everybody's got their strengths about what does value look like beyond comp, right? And so we started figuring ours out. So I'll tell you a little bit about what's working for us. We have an online offline component, right? So first, we just started getting into our community. It started with, hosting happy hours, real estate industry events, becoming a market leader, becoming a brand name in our kind of ecosystem when it comes to real estate professionals. And that started working. So that's old school. We just, rubbing elbows and shoulders, yeah, et cetera. And so, but that opened an opportunity, a mortgage company hosting a real estate happy hour, usually those things are caged off and you don't want your competitors in there. We welcomed them with open arms. Come on in, understand what we're doing here. And we started meeting them. And said, hey, if you can win the business, win the business. But Matador is going to win our fair share. And that's what they started to see. And especially when we toe to toe in a competing situation, LE to LE, we're like, wait a minute, let me show you what's happening here, right? And then let's talk about comp, right? And really compare apples to apples. So that started working, and that's been a boots on the ground kind of effort that we've had for many years now. And then that kind of, we started doing some online stuff. So, everybody's talking AI. There's bots and chat things for every kind of solution you can imagine. I personally leaned into LinkedIn and figured out some tools and software to help us kind of do, compound my reach as, as an individual using the AI tools out there. Always happy to share what we got going on, in terms of digitally, but that's kind of what's been working so far.
Well, I mean, that's really, I have to commend you, because there's been a few people that I have talked to as I've had the honor of serving with AIME that have reached out to me. And like you mentioned, the retail model, not to say that it's dead for everyone, but when you talk about growth, right, you want to talk about how do I grow a company in the broker channel and trying to do it the old way on the retail mindset. It's very, very tough. And that growth tends to be very limited. And you were willing to bet on yourself, as I know a lot of other people have in this industry as well. I mean, not on this call, but even like Scott Valens is another one that comes to mind that I remember having that conversation with him. Hey, this isn't really, how do we get to this point to where we can scale without over promising? Because as you know, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, on the retail side of it, it's selling support. You have to sell the reason why you're taking so much from them, and then you have to provide it, right? As to where at this point, you have the house built. The business is built. We know that rates are cheaper. We know that the execution from, what is your average from submission to clear to close, right? In the broker channel, our averages are under 15 days, right? In retail, that's still 30 days. So when you're looking at this, it's like, once again, I mean, I commend you for that, on being able to bet on yourself, scrap it all, rebuild, getting you up to where you're going to cross over 100 million in production this year, have added more and more loan officers. Really outstanding. One of the things that you said that I just have to point out, you will notice the winners in this industry have an abundance mindset, right? You'll get to hear it. I know Jason and Ashley will be the same, but thinking of, I'm going to do a real estate event and not be worried about my competitor showing up, right? That's an abundance mindset. That means that what you have, you're not worried about somebody else taking from you. It's like when you know you're the best, you can walk into the room, and as brokers, that's why we're best, right? That is outstanding. So great job, Apurva. Our next one that I want to introduce, Ashley Miller, right? You guys have known Ashley has played a few roles in our industry, really sharpening her skill set, finally landing with just an outstanding company with great leadership over there at Empire Home Loans. I'm going to share what has been happening over at Empire. Look at these numbers, right? We're up 71% in 2024, year over year. That team from Julie, Anthony, all the owners over there are just absolutely crushing it, making sure that they're kind of doing the same thing, right? You guys have a little spin. We all do things a tad bit differently, but our goals are, we're attacking retail originators right now. We're trying to save them, right? I mean, that's really what we're trying to do. You know how it feels when somebody comes and joins your company, and 3 months later, they all say it to us, right? You can tell me, like, I don't even have to say this. What do they say to you 3 months later?
I wish I'd done it sooner.
Yes, every time.
Always,
right? It's like,
always.
What was I waiting on? It's like I always equate it to the elephant at the circus. It has that little clasp on its arm. It's like, you just break free. You don't need to. Better rates, better pricing, better speed. The technology has gotten better. And now we have leaders like Ashley in this industry as well, sharing that message. So Ashley, tell us, how has it been going there? What are the strategies that you're using to continue to fuel the growth over at Empire?
Yeah, so I was so lucky to walk into an already winning culture. And so there wasn't a lot of heavy lift on my end to have to rebuild from the ground up. Julie, Anthony, and Leo all have a huge background in the retail space. And so when they started having the conversations that we could do this better for the consumer, better for the loan officer, and just create a better experience for them to build a business that serves them. But we're going to combine what's great about retail, but you're going to get all of the benefits of being a broker. And when I say combine what's great about retail is we've built a company based off of support. Our number one core value is people, and that's our brokers. And that then translates to their clients and their referral partners. The better support they get plugging into our company, the better service they're going to give to their clients and to their referral partners. And so they really built a winning culture that just surrounded itself on the betterment of the people that work at Empire. And with that, we just share constantly on what it's like as a day in the life working at Empire Home Loans. And in that own ecosystem, our loan officers are so happy working there that they then go out and they tell their network and sphere too. And so we're just constantly creating just a web of people that are calling with questions. They want to have conversations. They want to know what's happening over here. And then we have proof of concept, because like you said, Tom, once they get in months down the road, they're like, I should have done this a lot sooner. We've got internal platforms set up that nurture and foster support for them. And we take them through a very comprehensive onboarding process so that when they do make the transition over to broker, that they're not lost. And because they have such a great experience transitioning, it lends themselves to being excited and talking about what their future looks like at Empire with everyone else around them. So that has really been, I think, the number one thing that has helped us grow. And also in a down market like we've experienced, opens up a lot of opportunity to have more conversations with people, because they tend to look around and they're seeing where there's holes either in their process or where they're currently at. And they're looking for ways to improve that. Where when business is great, we have nothing to really look around to see what's broken, right? It's all working well for what we need it to. But then when things start to slow down a little bit, you kind of start to see things a lot clearer. You see where the floods are.
You have some time to actually take an inventory of, wait a minute, why am I getting beat all the time? And I know that they're not working for free.
Right. So it's been incredible to come in and be able to also take that same mission and lead the charge as well. And then we also live it too. So we're not just speaking about this stuff, we're actually putting life into it. And all of us, me and the 3 owners and the leaders at Empire Home Loans, we're in the mud with people. We're actually doing it with people day in and day out.
So question for you, right? Outreach, right? So Apurva, he was mentioning for him, like LinkedIn was a great source to build and generate these relationships, right? Mm-hmm. I think all of us, that's a great part about one, we're all brokers, we're all selling the same money. The process, I mean, somebody might be a little better at one process or the other, but we're all on the same team here. Tell me, like, what is the outreach? Like if somebody is saying, hey, you know what? I want to get in and I want to grow from, you guys currently have right around 200 employees. And let's just say that you have 20, because Empire was there at one point, like all of us were. What are the steps that they need to take? How does outreach go? Are you using LinkedIn? Are you using a service to call? Like, what does that consist of for you guys at Empire?
So I do need to pick Apurva's brain on LinkedIn. I'm admittedly not as visible on LinkedIn, or I don't use it as often as I should. I'm really big on social media. So Facebook and Instagram are my big platforms, and I've got a huge database on both of those apps. And so I just stay visible on those. But for outreach and research, I use Redder. So I use Redder to do research. If I'm looking at specific candidates that I would like to start having conversations with, people that I want to meet, I use Redder to pull all of that data and then do my research on these people before I start doing some outreach. For me, the conversations always start around me trying to find some common ground with somebody to create a connection with them and build some trust with them before we really dive into the business. Some of the most impactful conversations I've had, we haven't even gotten into our systems. We haven't even gotten into our structure, comp, or any of that. We talk for an hour just on what our goals are, how we're aligned, what they're looking for. We get them excited about what's to come in the future. So Redder is a tool I use daily. Bonzo is another tool that I use to help with that outreach piece of it. LinkedIn, I'm not quite there yet, but I do want to get there. It's on my to-do list. And social media. I go pretty hard on social media. And so most of my visibility comes from using those apps.
That's excellent. And I know, like, even you mentioned Redder, some of us use a lot of those services that are key to making it successful, because then it'll show you what their social media accounts are as you can look them up and add it. So that's outstanding. I think that, you know, the biggest takeaway for me that I think a lot of people fail when they start with this is going right to where you're breathing on people with commission breath, right? It's the same thing when you're dealing with trying to call a real estate agent. Are you calling right away? I have the best rates. I have it like. People don't necessarily always care about that. First, you have to relate, right? Have the conversation, and Ashley hit something very important. Like, it should be very step one. Find the common ground, right? Hey, I noticed that you and I worked with the same agent, Sally. Like, you can look it up. Are they close on? Like, yeah, how do you know Sally? Like, have a conversation. If you go in right away and are trying to sell something of value, I think it was maybe if it was Renee that gave you, like, well, I did a class at one point that went over like plowing the field or tilling the soil. You have to, before a relationship is right for something to grow, and before their brain even opens up to listen to what you're saying, you have to make sure that you have that comfortability, right? So very, very key point. Jason DuPont,
Yes,
Nexa
sir.
executive partner. This guy's just outstanding. I don't know how many, everybody should know this guy, but he's done a lot to help grow this industry. Obviously has recruited a ton of people at Nexa. Just want to give you guys a quick little screenshot. It's a little harder when you get to a company of their size to have that kind of growth. Still 26%, adding over, close to 2 billion in production last year. And I know a lot of that was due to your leadership in the ways that you're recruiting. So give us a little background. Tell us, what's working best for you, how you do recruiting from your standpoint, and some tips for our listeners to take away today.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. So my big thing is be real. That's probably number one. Figure out what your value proposition is and be real. We don't need to hide anything. We all have similar things. As they said, support is always going to be number one, but that's not number one on what's going to get someone to click on an ad. You're going to go back to things like rates and pain points. So what I'm going to say is talk about pain points. Be real, be open. Find out what you're willing to offer. What Tom can offer and I can offer are two different things, but there's a lot of overlap, right? There's a lot of the same loan officer can thrive at either one of our companies. It's where they feel at home too, and that's a big piece of it. It's helping them feel at home. I'm gonna say one thing that I feel very strongly about is that distributed retail, I think it's ending. I know people are saying it's hanging on and all that. I think it's ending, and I think our market share is only going to grow from here. But if I was out there doing it myself or helping others, teaching others, it'd be real, be open, be zany, be your nerd self or your jock self or whatever you are. Just be who you are and be what you really represent. I think that too often we wear masks in society, and we don't need to. There's no reason for it. People will feel and align with when you're genuine and you're sincere.
I like it. There's no question, my friend, that you're genuine. Okay. We've seen some great pictures when you had hair down to here wearing Macho Man Randy Savage outfits. I like that. But you know what? Back to the basics.
Yes, sir.
Get people to know, like, and trust you, right? And in order to do that, you can't be something different than what you are. So part of that really comes to, I'll say the gestation period, right? There's some people that are maybe ready to move right now, but those normally are not the kind of producers that most companies are going to want to have, right? Because they normally have a problem with, like, I get a call from somebody that worked at Matador or Nexa, and they're bouncing. You look on their NMLS, and they've got 15 different changes in the last 3 years. When we're recruiting from retail, as we are, our best recruits are normally coming from people that haven't made a change in 10 years,
Agreed.
10 years,
Agreed.
and it takes time. Apurva, for you, what is the average gestation period for you on getting a good recruit to move over?
Oh, I mean, almost sometimes 6 months to a year, right? It takes time. To one of the points you had earlier, about abundance mindset. Not to stroke my own ego, but I live and breathe that. Like, I believe that rising tides raise all ships, and you guys are like the freaking, battleships out there that I'm in, the little tugboat tugging along, but I'm trying to get there. But that being said, so one of the things we do is we host a strategy, and I'm an open book. Anybody can message me anytime. We started hosting a LO mastermind as a follow-up to our happy hour, because it's hard to have an in-depth conversation, strategic business discussion in a happy hour setting. Yeah. So we did a follow-up and said, hey, come to our office. And I literally, the first bullet point on the slide is, this is not a recruiting event. We are here to get mind share with each other. Selfishly, I don't try and recruit in that setting, but I absolutely get pain points out of those conversations. What are you feeling? What are you struggling? And this is a true story. One time we only had 3 people show up. There was 3 loan officers, 3 different retail shops. And I started with this not a recruiting event. By the end of it, all 3 of them said, hey, how do we join? And I said, I'm not here to do that. But I said, no, we're coming. And they came. And it was, it was a great sign of just giving value, right? There was no intentionality about recruiting, but we were just trying to give and get value from each other. And I'm learning too, I'm still in production a little bit. So I try to kind of keep my toes wet in the game. But for the most part, these guys are out there fighting the fight. The last thing I'll say for us, that's kind of a one aha moment was, when I was in retail and a branch manager, and we were a high velocity branch at the time, I believe that my job was really just fixing the pain points that retail brought, the manufacturing belt that retail brought to me, whether it was underwriting challenges, lock desk challenges, and that was really my job. And to your point, Tom, earlier, with wholesale, the manufacturing the loan is such a streamlined process that you rarely even have to think about it. So we really got to wear the hat that what was our strength as our company at Matador. We're a marketing company. We're a marketing company that happens to do mortgages, right? So what I try and do for our loan officers is we bring them all the tools from marketing resources, done for you social media, done for you flyers, all the things that they need, video, which is the biggest thing, right? And so I'm like, hey, you're going to walk in and it's going to get done, right? And that's a value piece that they look for. They're like, oh my God, I have retail guys that are trying to figure out Canva, and I'm like, why are you figuring out Canva? Like, I don't understand. Why are you even in that website? Like, you should not know that website. You should be out there, going out and getting loans. So that seems to be working for us.
I love it. And you hit on what I wanted to grasp out of that from your perspective is, 3 to 6 months is about the average time for someone for them to have a good enough relationship with you to know this is someone that I trust, right? This is someone that I know. And it doesn't happen from one phone call. Just the same with real estate agents, or if you're building any sort of network, right? You talked about doing events that are non-recruiting events. Okay, great. I could say for me, if I go to church every week, I'm in a group of people that you end up talking to. Some of them end up being clients. I'm not going to church to try to recruit people or to try to get mortgages. However, when this business becomes a lifestyle as well as what you do, it becomes natural. Because what do you talk about? If somebody's in engineering pipes for a living, I'm going to listen to the guy tell me about pipes for a living. It's what we do, right? So, but so many people get lost in that because they want to be so laser focused that they think if I'm doing something in an event where I'm trying to recruit, and I have to do it that way, sometimes you're missing out on it. Connections are what lead to fulfill what we're doing. The more people you know, the more people you grow with. So you got it spot on, Apurva. Thank you for sharing that. Ashley, what about you? What has been your take on, average gestation period from the time that you maybe first connect with somebody on social media and interact, and then they're bouncing questions off of you? How does that look for you?
It's about 3 to 6 months. But there are some people who have been in our Empire ecosystem for going on almost 2 years, people that we've just stayed in contact with that we, would love to work with. But it takes some people a lot longer to make a change than others. 3 to 6 months seems to be about the average time from when a conversation is had to when they're actually ready to make the jump. And then there are some that, they continue to come back, in and out for a year. They go through something painful and they want to have that conversation again, but then they're just not quite ready to make the jump. And then that's hard, I think, in our industry, because I think as salespeople, we are naturally we're very gratuitous people, right? Like, we want instant gratification and we want it now. And that's probably been my biggest struggle with recruiting, is if I feel like it wasn't turning fast enough that I was doing something wrong, right? But I think the natural life cycle of it is just a little bit longer than like the origination cycle, So that was probably one of my biggest challenges, was trying to get used to the fact that this was a lot longer of a nurturing cycle than I would like it to be. So if I get anyone in that 3-month mark, that's a huge win. And then now I've just learned that it's a bit normal to go to that 6 month to a year sometimes with some of these people that I'm having conversations with.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, especially if they're busy. I mean, you hit on that early on and talked about, when rates were at 2.5, why did we lose a little bit of market share during that time? Well, people are too busy to even think about it. Right? They're making 40, 50,000 a month when they could have been making 70 or 80, but it didn't necessarily it wasn't the right timing. So like everything, my advice to those that are listening, start small, right? You don't have to, if you're a small broker owner and you're a one-man shop, give me an hour a week, okay? And just try it. Set up an Excel spreadsheet and find what it would be like to find an ideal person that replicates you, right? And that's really the key. And as you start doing that over time, I always have 20. I try to have 20 that I touch a week. And if I'm touching 20 people a week, I know I'm going to keep adding to that list because then somebody grows. Somebody's going to come on board. It continues to happen, but it doesn't happen without effort. And I know there's a lot of people out there that want to do it, but then they like, well, where do I start? We have amazing tools to help with that, right? We went over, Ashley talked about Redder. Perfect talked about LinkedIn. I'll talk about Bonzo, how it works. These are good supplements. Nothing is going to replace this, though. People need to feel and see, like, is this somebody that I can trust? Because the reality is, you're the one helping to make sure that they have a roof over their head, the paycheck for their family. Is this a business that I want to be associated with? Like, that takes time and it takes effort. So don't be afraid. You don't got to jump all in if you're thinking about getting into this. Start at an hour a week, right? Start small and then reach out to any of us. I'll tell you, Purvis said he does some amazing things on LinkedIn. Ashley, just a wealth of experience. Jason, let's hear from you, brother. What do you got?
I want to let everyone know, I don't care if you're a one-man shop, you're a small brokerage trying to grow, you're a big brokerage. If you want help, reach out to me. I will give you some tips. I'll let you know what's worked for me and what hasn't, what has not, what I faced. I love growing this channel. And that's straight up. If you need help, I would say don't get discouraged. I feel like this is still it's not a refi boom right now. It's a recruiting boom. It's a LO boom.
It is.
Do it now before rates drop. They talked about timeframes. Of course, my best recruits take over a year, but they're also $100 million producers. So It just takes time. And if someone says they want to come over today, one call close, it's going to be a little suspect unless there's something else going on, right? It's going to be a little bit crazy. So build those relationships, put relationships first. Don't worry about the time frame. Worry about doing what's best for the person you're trying to get over. And I'm not trying to get like sacrilegious or anything like that, but I do joke around like saving souls. I think that we are saving souls from the clutches of retail. And how many lies for those of us that have been in retail, how many lies we've been told over and over and over. And the number one thing they do say when they come over is, I wish I would have come over sooner.
Always, every time. So we're going to wrap with that. Here's the summary of what we're doing, right? Our committee gets together. We meet about once every 2 or 3 weeks. We want to help you. If you're trying to grow and expand your company, reach out to us, right? We have some other team members that aren't here, but you have 4 outstanding ones. Please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you grow your business. I think, Jason, you said it spot on. It's not a refi boom right now. It's a recruiting boom. And for those that are doing it, when you see the numbers I shared, obviously everyone's numbers, I'll take a little second and I can even plug ours. It's a refi. It's a recruiting boom. If we look at year to date from all of us that are growing and running successful companies, we're up 93% last year, right? As an average, each one of us have almost doubled what we're doing in production. This isn't people just talking about something that aren't doing it. We have doers that are willing to share, that are members of AIME, that give their time. Apurva, Ashley, Jason, thank you so much. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Anything we can help you with, reach out to us, tag us in the Facebook group. Hope everyone has an amazing day.
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you.